and the UFC called me because they saw me in the pay-per-view fight.
Got it.
So
Very cool.
then it was like, you didn't know who, like, okay, you go to find Mark Coleman. I didn't know who was Mark Coleman those days, and you step into the ring and then you see him. The guy is like 3 times your size.
Are you looking for a way to drive growth, sales, communication, and retention in your academy? Kovar Systems 6-month Program Director course is designed to help members of your team thrive in the important role of Program Director. With step-by-step training, we will cover a wide range of topics, including prospect follow-up, overcoming objection, and securing enrollments. Our program will teach your team members to effectively communicate the values and benefits of martial arts, which can be a game changer in securing more enrollments at your academy. Our next 6-month course starts on this date. So don't wait and visit our site, www.kovarsystems.com, to get your team enrolled in the upcoming course. Again, that's www.kovarsystems.com. Enroll now and get ready to see some real results in your business.
Welcome to the Satori Lifestyle Satori Masters Podcast, the ultimate resource for ambitious, hardworking school owners that want to get their business and their life to the next level. My name is Dave Kovar. I'm a lifetime martial artist, business owner, speaker, and author. My goal is to empower listeners with the knowledge and the tools they need to break through barriers and really get their business and their life to the next level. Thanks for watching and enjoy. Welcome to the Satori Lifestyle Satori Masters Podcast. I'm your host, Dave Kovar, and on the line with me today is a really good friend of mine, Moti Horenstein. How are you, sir?
Oh, very good, sir.
All right, man. Always a pleasure to see you. So everything good in Miami?
Yes, sir. Especially the weather.
All right.
Now, but it's always nice.
All right. Well, if those of you guys that don't know, Moti, he's had, correct me if I'm wrong, something like 300 fights between professional and amateur. Does that sound about right?
Yes, sir. It was 400, like with the Kyokushin karate. It's about 400 fights.
Oh, wow. And including kickboxing, Muay Thai. You had several fights in the UFC, so you've been doing this a long time. And
yes,
sir. Yeah, I noticed when you don't sound like you're from Miami originally.
Originally, no. Originally.
Tell us a little about how you grew up and when you started your martial arts.
You heard the accent a little bit or no?
Just a little bit. It's way less than when I met you 20 years ago, though. I'll tell you that.
Sure.
So tell me about your upbringing a little bit.
So I born in Israel, and in those days over there when we trained, it was no equipment and no protections for our body, and that's why we're feeling it right now, very, very hard.
Whenever Hanchi and I are together, we compare notes on our injuries. Yeah, I think you're ahead of me, and I'm okay with that, by the way.
I'm okay with that. So, the Kyokushin, I grew up on the first 5 years, almost 6 years, I had judo. My neighbor was one of the biggest judo guy in Israel. So I was training with his son personally with him for like 5-6 years. Then I moved from there and I started with Isardut, which Dennis Anover. And I did with him Isardut, which is combined from Kyokushin karate, jiu-jitsu, Japan jiu-jitsu style, not the Brazilian.
Right.
Judo and Aikido and Apkido style. He combined all those styles together. And I stick with that all the way to age of 25 when I came to America. Those days I went to the army in Israel, like any good Jew guy that live in Israel. And after the army, I went another 3 or 4 years in business in Israel, and then I decided just to come to 2 weeks for vacation in America.
Okay.
And 2 weeks became 30 years now.
Yeah, I remember. So you were already competing in Israel, but that's like your first. How old were you when you entered the first UFC?
So I was 33, I think 30, like something like that. 33 was my first. In 1993 was the first year.
Got it. And so you at the time, this was This was you hadn't had a lot of wrestling then. Now, of course, you're a high level black belt in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. You do everything well, but early on, you're such a good athlete. But that was probably a weaker area for them. That's when not everybody was as well rounded as they are now. Would that be fair to say?
In the beginning, if you remember, it was like tournaments. It wasn't like a one fight thing.
Yeah.
There was no rules when I fought, like
Yep.
no time limit. As they said before, two people going into the cage, one goes out. That was the advertising in
Yeah.
those days. And you fought against, like, we didn't have videos to watch anybody to see how they fought before, or which one is champion, is that and that, whatever. So it was karate against kickboxing, and kickboxing against judo, and judo against jiu-jitsu, and that's how it was combined then.
Yeah. And tell me about, I love the story. I love the time, like a Sabaki tournament in Denver, where you did like some match where the first 2 rounds, you had different things, different rules over each round.
So it was Kyokushin karate, you stepping in, and then you take off your uniforms and you stay with the Muay Thai pants, and you put the 12-ounce gloves, and you do another 2 fights, 2 rounds, and then if you didn't finish the fight, then you have 2 more rounds, which came up like in the UFC then, mixed MMA style. Wow. Everything 5-ounce gloves. So that was the first pay-per-view that was before UFC. That's why the UFC called me from there. I was the champion it was a Shidokan then, and the UFC called me because they saw me in the pay-per-view fight.
Got it.
So
very cool.
Then it was like, you didn't know who, like, okay, you go to find Mark Coleman. I didn't know who was Mark Coleman those days, and you step into the ring and then you see him. The guy is like 3 times your size, and you have to fight. So
he was a beast. Well, you were a pretty fit dude then too.
I remember fighting every 2-3 weeks in different tournaments. It was like, I did the Kyokushin karate tournaments. I did USA Kyokushin karate tournaments. I did the Sanshu champion of the world. I got first place. I did the Muay Thai world champion in Thailand, King Cups. I win, the only Israeli guy that ever been in this tournament. It's like 1 week tournament. It's like blood sports. You fight. It's no prize money. Those days we just fought for trophies. We never had money there. UFC paid me $2,500.
That was like a big payday at the time. It was like, whoa, right?
It was a lot of money because and also it was a tournament, like 16 people, 8 fights a day. You start in the morning with those kind of people. You fight like all day. It was amazing.
Yeah, well, what incredible. And it's funny because I remember you. I remember before I'd met you, I remember watching you fight. Anyway, just doing a little background on you and what they said. It was like, but then I think the first time we met, I don't want to guess, but it would have probably been in the late 90s at an EFC event. Does that sound about right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, maybe mid 90s. And what I remember is that I already knew who you were, and I made an announcement like, hey, everybody wants to train tomorrow morning at 7 a.m., meet me in the lobby. I'm going to work out a little bit. And, I don't know, a half dozen guys show up, and there you are. And I'm going, holy crap, but well, it's like very intimidating. You're such a good dude, though. Like, as soon as I started working with you for 30 seconds, I felt very comfortable. Like, you have got, incredible power, but also, you've got a great control. But what impressed me was, here's this guy, this high level fighter, and he's getting up at 7 a.m. in the morning to go train with me. It was really cool. And it's been great to get to know you and kind of watch you evolve as also like you were already skilled, but to see you be this high level jiu-jitsu black belt now as well. That's something you still train on a regular basis with, I'm assuming.
Yes, sir. Just today I was in Valente.
I'm sure you were. You're a pretty consistent guy. So, What I kind of wanted to focus on is that your transition from being a fighter and you're making ends meet however you could. You originally opened up a school in New York and you eventually moved to Miami. So what have you learned from first and foremost, tell me some things that you did wrong as a professional martial artist, as far as your teaching or running your business. I'm sure you probably did nothing wrong, but if there was one thing, what would it be?
We never do anything wrong. So the first thing wrong I did for like the first 5 years that I opened my school, first of all, I opened it like I call it underground, underground gym. And then we never use I learned from Israel. We never use defensive gear or something like that. We bang each other. The first belt for white belt, you do 15 fights to get to yellow belts. It's like you're here. So for 5 years, I had only 50 students. Then I got connect to you and Navali and all the EFC crew. And then I start changing, and then I grew.
Yeah. It's funny how we think, yeah, like underground, and I'm going to be the toughest guy. Like you think, I remember back in the day where I used to schedule, this would have been in the mid 80s. I would have used to schedule my first lessons right at the end of sparring class. And when they would come in, I'd make sure we were sparring extra hard, somehow. And then you'd wonder why you turn around for someone to teach their first lesson. They were already gone. They didn't realize that they didn't identify with the guy delivering the punch. They identified with the person getting hit by the punch, right? It's so funny how it seems so obvious now, but that's a lesson we need to learn, And I don't know about you, but I remember having a small school struggling, but all the guys that I had were really good. And the reason why they were really good is all the people that really needed my training, I'd scared them all away. The guys that I had were already tough guys, It was like, once I understood, hey, man, you can make the whole goal. Anybody can take a tough guy and make him tougher, but can you take someone that's, afraid and, lacks confidence and lacks coordination, and can you make them something? And that's much more rewarding.
Absolutely. This is when I changed my mind, learning from you guys. I changed my mind from a fighter's gym to a family gym. And that's when I start to see results,
So tell me about your transition. So you got a relatively successful school going on in New York, and what made you decide, you know what, man, was it the weather? I'm relocating. I'm moving to Miami. What made you do that?
So 15 years that I was there, every year I came to my friends down in Miami, and winter, summer, no matter what, we're sitting in the jacuzzi or driving the bikes. I was like, in New York, I have to work an hour before I go to the dojo, before I can get into the dojo to remove the snow. Before I go to remove the snow, I have to remove the snow from my car. And I have to spend a half that warming up the car when I'm freezing. And 15 years I go over here every year, and I said I have to come over here, but I didn't want to leave the gym, close the gym and leave everybody without. So I wait until I had a good instructor to take over, and then I moved.
Got it.
It took time.
And so, man, what did you learn? Okay, so you moved to Miami and you decide, all right, I'm gonna open up a school. So that had to be, I mean, you look back in hindsight, I think of some of the dumb stuff that I did that someone will tell me, oh, that was really courageous. And it wasn't, it was just ignorance, right? But I look at that and I think, man, how courageous. By this time you've got some young kids and I'm going to move to Miami and start over. What were you thinking? And what were some of the challenges you went through?
So, from my early age, when I decide to do something, I always kind of did it the way, not from my knowledge or not, just from my constantly driving power to really achieve the success. It's no other ways. I had to succeed to move over here.
You had no choice.
I connect myself to mentors, and I go to meetings twice a week with Navali. Then those days was there. I was there with learning everything from him. Every time you came, I was there. Every time, So I just try to grasp as much as I can, and really, I know what I want to bring to my students, and I was always looking for the best that I can get them from anyway, from martial art point of view, from philosophy point of view, for just to get the whole package together, and it took me time to build it up, but that's what I was. With my mind is coming over here. I opened the door with 99 students. When I 3 months of hard marketing, and we opened the door, like we was having a table and a chair outside the door that was locked with people working inside and building stuff, and we couldn't even go in. But I was looking for the windows and show people from the windows that here is going to be a martial arts school, and you guys sign up, and I sign up 99 people before I
Well,
even got.
so what's
You
so
know,
important? What you said is really profound in that you had no other choice. It's like, you had no other choice to be successful, and then you're willing to do the hard work. Okay, this is what I got to do.
absolutely. We walk every day to many businesses. We did the door to door. We put flyers. Something that I'm not doing today. If I want to grow again, I should
Right.
do it.
We call it work so good you quit doing it, right? How many things I go, oh yeah, we used to do that, worked really good. So I heard a line yesterday from Vincent Bardini, who he got it wasn't his original line, but I loved it. There's no silver bullet, there's 100 golden BBs to be successful. And that's kind of that's what you did in this time to grow that your school in Miami, man. It's like, oh, every little thing, like leave no stone unturned. And that's
Absolutely.
kind of what it takes. Yeah. So what have you learned now? So you've been in Miami for 15, 20 years now?
Now I'm here 20 years. Yeah, this year
Wow.
it's our 5th anniversary. We just had a nice open house, and we did a nice event last Sunday.
Wow, incredible. Congratulations. And so what's now,
That's
obviously it's
why I
never
couldn't.
easy.
That's why I couldn't come to your event, because of that my event.
Well, I'm not going to rub it in, but it was a really good event. We would have loved to have you, but we went
Always,
on without you.
it's always great to be there, sir.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, so tell me, so now it's been there 20 years, and obviously, what I think it's important for everybody to know, regardless of their career, but since you and I are professional martial arts instructors, what we do, it's never friggin' easy. It's not like, all right, you've been doing this for, you've been in, you were doing it years before in New York, and now you've been 20 years in Miami. The fact that, okay, here you are, this world-class martial artist, still trains, really easy guy to like, great instructor, hardworking. It's still hard. It's still hard. In other words, you still got to get up every morning, roll your sleeves up, and put the work in, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think some people kind of forget that. They're looking for, as a matter of fact, I recently got someone sent me a video of, it's a Duke University, I believe, the head coach of the women's basketball team for Duke University. I don't remember her name, but and it was, the title was, do hard better, I believe was the title. And it had to do with how people are looking for easy ways to do things. They're hoping it's going to get easier. It's going to get easier. And the bottom line is life doesn't get easier. What happens, you learn how to deal with adversity better. And therefore, that's the only way it becomes easier. And that's, I think, kind of the ongoing battle. So what are any new kind of things that you're kind of either remembering or realizing for the first time that are helping you continue to keep your momentum going with your school?
I think it's coming down to all how much you give your students, and how you grasp them, and how you treat them, and how you making sure that they're coming in and they have the SSL kind of
Mm-hmm.
things in the dojo. It's always we adding. We add one person right now just for greeting in the front.
Okay.
Every classes is somebody just standing and greeting everybody and making sure that they're coming in, they give the greeting, and they know what they need to do, where they have to go. We have right now 4 or 5 instructors in each class, which is we separate the groups to 3 or 4 or 5 like small groups that they're learning more of a privately with each instructor, and then we're switching it up. A lot of different ways to make the class, because it's all come up to the curriculum and the class in the end of the day. People need to
100%.
they need to get out of the class smiling, sweating and learning.
Man,
So we pushing that all the time, and the instructors getting better, and the place getting better, and we always making sure that the places look like top shape, and just try to bring a new guys in and close the back door.
you know
Close.
what? It's so simple, but it's not easy. I knew this is what this kind of thing you're going to share with me because I know you, and a lot of times I think people feel like, well, it's got to be something really complicated. It's not, man. It's exactly what you said, and the emphasis on having that classroom, the SSL. For those of you guys, Hanchi mentioned it's smile and sweat and learning. The whole intention with a class is people should have a good time, they should get a good workout, and they should learn something new. And that's so much of it. And things like the greeter. Why is that so important? Well, because people go where they feel appreciated and people know their name. And, that's it's such a basic thing, but so incredibly valuable, and especially maybe don't have a lot of friends, a lot of different places. And I walk in, maybe I didn't even want to go to class today, but my mom made me. And I show up and there's some greeter saying, "Hey, Davey, good to see you, man. So glad you could make it, man." I mean, it's so simple and so powerful. And one of the things that I've always really respected about you, on top of it, it being an incredible martial artist and always somebody that's so much fun to train with. I remember telling you, I think you're the only guy that I know that likes martial arts more than me.
No, you're still on the top.
But anyway, is that your open-mindedness, you're always willing to you're always looking to ways to improve. And I think once you stop trying to become better, you quit being good. And I respect you greatly for kind of keeping that up.
As I learned from you, the biggest word in the biggest room in the world is room for improvement.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. There's no doubt about that, man. So what are you working on now? What is your biggest challenge that you're currently facing?
So,
Your thing you're most excited about?
summer coming, and then we don't have a big success with our camps. We can have like 10, 15 a week. That's my biggest challenge right now. But I'm working on I'm developing another room right now that I can put I just bought the metal structures to put 16 bags on that, and have something renew for the summer, that people like, wow, excited about, now is a bag work, hanging bags, something new that I can bring to the classes and have separation of, okay, you guys going to go to you work with the instructor over there in the bags for 15, 20 minutes, you come back, you do the self-defense, and then you use your jiu-jitsu in the end, so we're changing every 15, 20 minutes. We're changing the activity and the fun in that, and they love coming to class. So I want to keep them coming in the summer, so.
That's awesome. It's that X factor, it's that so many times people get caught up and they want their school to look good, which it should, you know what I'm saying? But it doesn't matter how slick your sign is or how cool your uniforms are. If your classes are only mediocre, Stephen Covey said, you can't talk yourself out of a situation you behaved yourself into, and if your program is only mediocre, man, you're going to have a hard time growing. So the fact that that's such an important area of focus. So what advice would you give somebody, there's a lot of guys that after COVID, they came back strong, and a lot of people went out of business and haven't been back. And there's some guys that are still struggling to get their momentum. I know we came back pretty strong, and most of the people in my network as well. But let's just say you've got some guy out there that's listening to this, that's struggling to kind of, get to the next level. What are some things that you'd tell them to do?
So I think that, always you have to work from your heart. And making sure that you grow, not you as a team as well. The team needs to be up to the level of yours. I think that you cannot just be sitting in the back office and expect that the other instructors will do the work. You as most of the people coming for you as a head instructor, so you need to be up there. If you have other head instructors, so the head instructor, whoever is in the running the school, needs to be up in the front and meeting and greeting and working and push as hard as possible, because this is the only way things will work.
100%.
Not, as you said, it's easy, but it's not easy.
Yeah. No doubt. Well, good advice, man. Well, I want to be respectful of your time. It's great getting caught up. I know I consider you, like, we don't talk that often, but I consider you a great friend. And it's like every time it's like, man, I get to get together with Moti more often, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Well,
we just went to wow.
Go ahead. What were you saying?
No, I'm saying that it's already 30 minutes passed by like this.
Like that. Yeah. So I would say, just to kind of sum up what we've been talking about would be that brilliant in the basics. And I think that's what you've done a really good job with. You know what I'm saying? You've got a real clear vision. You're willing to work really hard. You're also super consistent. It's not like, hey, I'm going to teach, for a couple of weeks, then I'm burned out. I'm going to take the week off. Like, you show up, you've got a family that's growing, but you show up and you do your job on a consistent basis. And that goes a long way. One other question for you. Are you not doing as much a bodyguard work now and security work now as you used to do?
I got somebody to run that area. I'm still involved, but just for big jobs, not for the small.
Okay. Because I remember one time you picking me up in your bulletproof Mercedes. I go, what do you got this for? Well, I do a little, it was like really cool car. But, and I remember you telling me something that was like, hey, you passed up on a pretty good gig because you wanted to grow your school. And it's kind of like that's really important that sometimes the best business decisions are the ones you pass on, because it's hard to, you want to grow your school, but you're focused on other things. It's kind of like you got to decide where you're going to spend your time.
Absolutely, absolutely. If you're not focused on if you start to wander around on what's going to work or what's not going to, and you try so hard, so many things, it's not working.
Yep, absolutely.
You got to focus.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate your friendship, and I hope to see you sometime in the next, it's 8 to 12 months, if possible.
Yes, sir. We will do. We'll do.
All right, man. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Are you a martial arts instructor looking to improve your teaching skills and build a strong team of future instructors? Well, look no further than the Satori Alliance, an international association of martial arts instructors. Our mission is to positively impact the global martial arts community by establishing a shared level of martial arts instruction, professionalism, and continuous learning. With our instructor certification program, you'll gain the confidence, communication skills, and classroom management techniques to run a professional and well-run martial arts floor of any age group. We invite you to schedule a free consultation with one of our program directors who can evaluate your instructor team's size, schedule, and training content. We'll outline the Satori Alliance master steps that have helped build and maintain strong teams of instructors. To learn more about the Satori Alliance and schedule your free consultation, please visit our website at www.thesatorialliance.com/podcast. That's SATORIALLIANCE.com/podcast. Join our community of passionate martial arts instructors today.
Thank you for tuning in today to our podcast. I hope you found it valuable and inspirational. To stay connected, please subscribe to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you go for your podcasts. If you enjoyed today's show, please give us a 5-star review. And we really sincerely would appreciate some feedback. Your feedback helps us to create high-quality content that will help others in the future. If you'd like to follow me, you can go to Dave Kovar on Facebook or Hanchi Dave Kovar on Instagram. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on next episode.